Well, that's not good. Thanks. I got this thing backwards. Gotta flip it later. All right, Canis, how's it going? Got a lot of sun this weekend, which was nice. I did. I've had a month worth of streams and workouts in this apartment so far. Um, Working out probably 6 days a week, streaming probably 3 days a week. Except I think it's the last time I streamed was on Canada Day, July 1st. How are you doing tonight? Super busy. What do you do again? I'm sure you told me. I don't remember. Sorry. Yeah, it's 11:30 p.m. here. Okay, yeah. I remember you telling me that you were a team leader before. I've been good. I got my vaccination shot, and it felt like somebody beat me up with a baseball bat and just left me there to recover for a couple days. And then I did recover, and I was good for a day or two. Then I started getting a sore throat, so I started focusing on getting some more sleep. But my throat started to get sore after I think I might have got maybe a little bit of heat stroke. I'm not like maybe not full on heat stroke, but I was getting there. Went out and was doing like using a stunt kite, and the people I was with, like I had very like it was fun and all, but I spent most of my time like climbing trees and doing calisthenics off trees. There's a playground. I put myself upside down. I was doing crunches. I was doing the human flag. I was just messing around for a couple hours in the heat, and it was hot. Um, yeah, for me, the pain had gone up in the neck within an hour, and I was like, I better get home before it's too hard to shoulder check. And then it started my neck, then it went to my shoulders, then it was my lower back. I couldn't turn, I couldn't. It was rather annoying, and it was just pain. And then after 2 days, I took Advil, which is ibuprofen, and took a nap for 3 hours. I woke up, I was all better. I've actually lost a bit of weight after the vaccine again. I'm down to 185 pounds. Tomorrow, I'm gonna, before I put back on my weight, I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to do a pull-up challenge. See how many pull-ups that I can do in 5 minutes. And I've been sort of thinking, what's the best way to do that? Whether it's do 10 pull-ups, wait 30 seconds, do 10 pull-ups, wait 30 seconds, and keep going like that, or if I should do it in sets of 20, or if I should do one set of 30, and then see how much I go from there. Dee, how's it going? Um, they'll be strict pull-ups, but I might use a little bit of speed to get a couple more in, but I'll be like, normally when I do my pull-ups, I tend to focus more on time under tension, where I'll squeeze on the way up, squeeze at the top, let myself down, squeeze. But if you want to go for like maximum attempt, you're just like like whatever lift you're doing, you're flying through it to. Yeah, I've been getting everything I desire out of streaming without having set up the affiliate yet. I'm happy just to come here, show up. I'm able to save all my videos, look at them later, critique myself. I have you guys here to talk to, and I welcome you to join the journey on me. Yeah, I did say that. I did say I was going to set it up after I move, and I still should. I want to switch from Streamlabs to Stream Elements, and I'm going to have to basically start all over again and learn how to do everything. I know that there's a Twitch Music add-on to OBS, which isn't working for me. And if I get that working, then I can share my music with you that I'm dancing to. Because I got music playing right now, and if you have your volume up loud enough, you might just be able to hear it. But in the meantime, Echelon, how's it going? Since I've moved, I don't need to use mobile anymore because I don't have a pull-up bar on a door that I can use. So I can just set up my station in advance and then just go. So you stream Arcanus. Did I know that? I wanna see if I've. Uno momento. All right. I gave you a follow there. Now I'm going to close my. Whoops. I had this thing against the wall and knocked it down. Yeah. Saw you were playing Code Vein when I was sick from my post-vaccination shot. I started playing Stardew Valley, and like I wasn't in the mood to stream anything. I felt like poop, so I just sat there and vegged for hour after hour, and that game's addictive. It's quite slow pace, and the way I've been playing it is I'm maximizing my efficiency for everything I'm doing. So I'll do my farming, and then I'll max every hour of the day. So like I beat the story campaign in like 2 years. I'm in the third year, and I'm now that I started, it's going to be okay. The next year or so, I'll try to 100% complete it, or who knows how many hours that's going to take. Yeah, it's Stardew Valley is supposed to be it appears to be a popular game to stream. I want to turn my volume down here. Yeah, I've got a Starfruit winery farm that every 10 days I make like 100K without really putting any effort. All right, next set. And then after this, I'll increase the weight. Yeah, I pretty much spent all my time mining in that game every day. Probably got like 500 Omni geodes, whatever they're called. Made all my money in the early game by essentially opening the magma geodes. All right, let's increase the weight. Today, I'm going to use my squat rack for my bench press. That's the plan. Yeah, I bought the game for local co-op multiplayer, and then it turns out it's really convoluted to do, and you have to get like a mod of the game or something, and I just gave up on that. And if I want to, I can build additional houses on the farm and have anybody move in. But my thought process is I want to figure out where the save files are in the game before I do that, so I can back up my save in case, let's say, the person I invite to my farm ends up griefing me. Well, yeah, in Stardew Valley, online multiplayer is a core component of the game now. Local co-op has to be modded. That's my understanding. Your mom is eyeing the remastered Mass Effect. Yeah, I remember, like people my age are parents now, and parents of teenagers, where I grew up with my video games, and I was one of the first, and then we're one of the first generations to play MMORPGs as kids. Meanwhile, you go look at my parents and the life they grew up in, right? When they were like my parents are young, but even then they were in a completely different world. Where my dad grew up with the NES, but even then, not like when he was a really young kid. And so like my dad would have no interest in something like Mass Effect, where like if I had kids, I'd be like, yeah, Mass Effect, Resident Evil. It's like, I don't speak Spanish, sorry. Uh, I'm not. I'll try to pronounce your name there. It's Paiuy. Pa, Payu or Pai Paya. I'll go with that. Yeah, I grew up with RuneScape. I was the original admin in RuneScape 1 until I lost my account and I couldn't get it back. So I made the character Lord underscore admin, and that's where I got this name from. Growing up, my dad would call me Adman the Madman, but that was too many letters for any game. Actually, well, the first MMORPGs I started off in were actually online script games. So there's no character, like everything is script. It's all text, and you click on buttons to do things. I played Race War Kingdoms, Shimlar, a couple other ones. But when I was probably 14, I sold half of everything I owned on Race War Kingdoms for $2,000 American. And so I was 14 and I had suddenly like a nice little money pit there. And that's a game that a lot of people spend money on, but I never spent a dime on the game. I was essentially a worker for these people that were like people were pulling in $1,000 American a week. So they were selling in-game gold and items and making $1,000 a week. And I was working for these people, having access to all their characters and all their equipment and stuff. Got myself pretty trusted for a certain group of people, and it was good times. Hey there, so simply too deep. Yeah, I remember though. I was probably like 11 years old when I started that game, and I started working for these people. And I remember telling them, "Oh yeah, I'm 15" or something like that. And then I had to keep up that, and then so I was still playing the game until I was like 14, 15. So I had to keep up the charade for how many years? Hey, Gubster. I'm doing all right. Happy to be here. My throat had been sore for a couple of days. I thought it started with me getting a little bit too much sun. I got a nice tan though going on right now. At least I think. But had a sore throat, so I was still working out, but I wasn't streaming my workouts because I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to lift my weights, eat my food, go to bed. All right. Thanks for dropping by, Mr. Team Leader. All right. Gonna prepare myself for my next set, and let's go back to it. Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, Arcanus. Pleasure like always. Happy to have you here. Thanks for chatting with me. I'm going to finish my overhead presses. Then I might do dumbbell overhead presses seated. I don't have, I'm going to use my travel bench probably without a back. I'll see how I enjoy that. Otherwise, I'll do bench, maybe some dumbbell flies, some band work, and maybe some lat pullovers. And I think that would be a good workout. So you're saying I speak very fast? I do that sometimes. Sometimes I can just keep going. Oh, especially when it's something that I'm comfortable with and or maybe passionate about. Like if it's about work, I can just be like chop 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 chop. Um, Anyways, next set. This is 130 pounds. Oh. Oh. I gotta spend more time warming up and stretching my wrists. So that was 130 pounds. Went out, felt pretty easy. I think that was a set of 10. I'm not sure. I was. Good job, Gubster. It's you gotta keep chasing that improvement, and and give it to yourself when you get it, right? It's not, oh, I can't do these things. It's like you do the progressions and you get there eventually, but like sometimes just a little bit of improvement, like you might not like for myself, right? Like doing the planches or some of these really crazy calisthenics stuff. It's like it might feel like I'm getting pretty close, but like the last little bit can be like a really big chasm with lots of progressions to go through in between just to get there. Deceptively so sometimes. Yeah, that's great. You watch some videos and try things out yourself. Sometimes when you get perspective from many different people, like people think differently and people speak differently. And so, like for myself, maybe if I explain something to you, um, like there's certain things you might pick up from that, but then somebody else could sort of explain the same concept, but maybe the way they say it sort of gets that light bulb over the head. It's like, ding, oh, I suddenly that makes sense. Okay, and then just try it and just protect yourself and don't get hurt, and then the rest is have fun with it. Yeah. All right. Thanks for coming like always. Bye bye. Yeah, I've got I got a little bit of a tan. It's not a really great tan, but it's making certain contours look a little different. It's refreshing, I think. All right, so I'm gonna start getting my mindset into my next set. I got two fans on me right now. I got the door open for a little bit more air. I got the air conditioner in the other room. And for once, I'm not dying from heat yet. This is my workout room. And typically, every time I stream in here, it's become a physical barrier between this room and the rest of the apartment. Like, you walk out, it's like walking through, I don't know, like a viscous wall of liquid, and poof, suddenly you're in a different world. Yeah, that's the worst, especially when you're breathing in hot, stale air. A lot of my workouts are really trying to get, like, really trying to maintain high quality breath, like breathing. Like often I'll lift my set of 8 to 10, and I'll stop once I start to run out of air. And so I want like be as comfortable as possible. I want to be able to take nice deep breaths and quick as well, without getting any like throat tickle or just that's a bad breath of air right there. All right, next set. Oh, yeah, I know several people who work out in their garages, and the downside for that is it gets bloody cold in the winter. Well, and even at night. Um, Often when you have concrete directly on the ground, the heat transfer between the surface and the ground, when it's cold, it just keeps taking heat out of like if you're like even laying on the concrete, it'll keep taking heat out of your body and just transferring it into the ground. With a basement, first it's typically heated a little bit better because it has to be to prevent frost, prevent frost jacking, as well as often, unless you're in a walkout basement, you're typically below the frost. All right, so what do I do next? I think I'm going to set up this squat rack to a height that I can bench off. And I can't remember what height I liked it at last time. That's maybe one too high. That's pretty good. I'll try lowering it by one. That's definitely good. All right, so let's do that for both, and let's get this thing the right way around.
Yeah, I started watching a lot of short movies on YouTube. There is a channel that I believe is named Omeletto, which has a lot of really good, like short, like 5 to 25 minute movies. Some that really make you think. All right. Yeah, they come out with those movies pretty quick too. I started watching them at the beginning of the pandemic, took a break, and now, like 8 months since I've seen my last one, I've been binge watching all the ones that have come out since. All right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what was my favorite one. Um, Yesterday, I watched one where this mother was telling her baby daughter a story, and so it was like a fairy tale where the mother was the main character. And turns out, by the end, you realize that the story was about her life story, like the mother's life story, meeting the father, having a child, and all this stuff. As the mother had found out that she had cancer and wasn't going to live for much longer, so they recorded a little. They recorded a little. Oh, I can't think of the word, but they recorded a little like promo for the daughter to view when she grew up. Why am I putting this on now? It doesn't make any sense. Now, what did I do with my threaded ends? Yeah, floor presses have things about them that make them easier in some ways and more difficult in some ways as well. One thing in particular, you don't get a lot of range of motion before your elbows can actually hit the ground. Oh, excuse me, hiccup. Before your elbows actually reach the ground and you can't go back any further. So that's one thing that happens. But at the same time, you're doing more of a like a dead press. So like you get your arms on the ground and then it's just a straight press, like you're pressing dead weight. Yeah. Yeah, and like with overhead presses, those are one type of exercise that you got to be careful when if you're straining to pick up the weight. The shoulders don't like a lot of strain, and like when I was lifting my weight, I was doing it. I was straining, but I was being very careful that I'm not buckling, that I'm still control the whole time. All right, let's try this. Not that comfortable. I'm stuck. Okay. I'm not centered in the bar. What's happening is I'm hitting the squat rack with the right side of it, with the right plate. Why am I not so? Jesus. That was more awkward than I remember. Maybe I should lower it one more. Because that's not going to work once I start increasing the weight. I get a little bit of sunburn on my back, and now it's itchy. Oh. I'm still thinking about this and what I can do to make it better. Ooh. I could always make it a little bit more narrow. Maybe that would help. Huh. Ah, yeah. What am I going to do? How am I going to... That's annoying. I'm going to abort. This isn't... Oh. I'm going to lower it because that's frustrating. It's not working, so let's make it work. Yeah, that's better. This is the height I should have it at. I didn't have the fan directly on me here. Yeah, these safeties aren't really safeties. I'm not sure what I was. Originally, I was planning to use these to bench press off of, but they're too close. So trying to rack them on those things, it's like bringing the weight right to your face. You're like, oh my god. But yeah, this here was the best of the cheapest squat rack I could buy. So I think the thing cost me like $200. Um, and it's still a lot less sketchy than my bench press um, rack that I have, because at least I can change the width of the handlebars so that the handles aren't where my hands want to go, so I don't have to go narrow, shimmy, but it's still a little bit awkward. But I'm going to add on 70 pounds of this, go up to 200 pounds, and probably just get some volume there. Probably going to want to adjust my fans a little bit because it's getting hot when I'm laying down because I don't have the fans blowing on me very well. Yeah, if anything, these safeties would instill a false sense of confidence. But I suppose if I ever did get weight stuck on me, I'd be able to shimmy down my hips and then hip thrust to get the weight up onto this rack here. Um, you don't know when is a good time to move up with heavy weights. Um, you don't necessarily need to head up to heavier weights right away to get continuous hypertrophy as your muscles grow. Because you can always do more reps. You could put in a couple more sets, but you're gonna want sets near. You're gonna want to push yourself, and once you get to a point where the weight you're having to do too many reps in order to really push yourself with a certain weight, that's when you should be moving up. And that's easier said than done. But once again, you can try it, and If you can't maintain your form, then back off. And and often that's what you'll do is like you'll play around with the weights that you're lifting over time, and then do a set. And how did that feel? And okay, maybe a little bit too heavy, and then so back off of it, or that was a little bit light. So let's increase some more weight. I can do better than that. And sometimes it's just trying it. Don't hurt yourself. You don't have to add 100 pounds to your lift. Like you add 10 pounds depending on what exercise you're doing, and start to pay attention to things like if you're doing like I'm just gonna say curls because they're bread and butter staple exercise that people think about. Well, you're doing your curls. If you have 20-pound curls, how many reps can you do before you start to lose? Before you start to lose your form, or before it starts to be like get up there, right? How many sets can you do before that happens at 20-pound dumbbells? Well, now try 25-pound dumbbells. How many reps can you do before your form starts to struggle, or before you start to use momentum to get the weight up? You do 3. So you're doing 3 sets of 25 reps with 20-pound squats. Well, the thing is if you do those 25 squats, right? If you do 25 squats, if you are getting exhausted at 25, and it's because like you're out of breath, like you're turning the squats more into a cardio type exercise. My recommendation would be to increase the weight a little bit from 20 pounds, increase it until you get to something where you start to fail at 15. Because what I bet would happen is you're doing 3 sets of 25 squats a set. But I'm sure you could do 30, or I'm sure you could do 35. It's just, it's going to be more cardio. You're going to be out of breath, and you're going to be panting, and it's going to be just like going for a run. Whereas that isn't that doesn't really give a lot of hypertrophy. So that's more conditioning. That's training your heart, which is great, and that'll get you in better condition. But like for hypertrophy, your muscles need to work, and they need to be brought near failure so that you can essentially tear down the muscle tissue to rebuild it. Well, if you're focusing more on actually like carrying the stress in your muscles, what you're probably doing is you're probably squeezing harder every set. So on the way up, you're feeling we squeeze, and so suddenly that 25, suddenly the squash has become twice as hard, and so if you do a set of 25, maybe the 25 that you're doing when you're focusing on squeezing is taxing the muscle the same way that 40 squats would be if you're not squeezing. My quads, I'm not so big right now. They're not shaped the way I like them. But for 2018 to 2020, I couldn't train my legs because I had a herniated disc and I tore my glute, and I could only train my legs in isolation, and it sucked. Well, I used to be a back with legs, and I spent a lot of time on my legs, and so I had sculpted them exactly the way I wanted them to look. And when I herniated my disc, when I tore my glutes, I lost 60 pounds like right away, and my legs shriveled up. I watched them day by day; they just shriveled up. I lost my ass. I lost and right now my legs are strong. I can squat like 315 for a set of 10. I can do like 900-pound leg presses, but they're not sculpted and shaped the way I like them. So I've just got a lot of work to put on them, and it's a little bit hard without access to the gym, and I don't have my bread and butter exercises, right? Like leg presses. My leg presses has always been a staple. I can still do squats here, um, but I am a little bit self-conscious about my legs. I do realize I got muscles. I still train hard, but I've I'm looking forward to the process in order to really make them pop out. I'm looking forward to getting those gains, and it'll be small gains over time, and it might take me like a good year. But even now, my legs have grown since January when I first started streaming. Yeah, I would I like try increasing your weight. It's just really keep an eye on your form and see what increasing the weight does to your form. If you're buckling, it's too heavy for you right away. If you're buckling at, say, if you do 7 reps and then you start to buckle, lower the weight by just a little bit, and then you'll get to around 10 to 12, and then you'll start to buckle, right? Like when you get to, like if you're doing a squat and you get down to like 8, and then so you're just like, right, to get up, right? Like in that instance, I was trying very hard and squeezing. I didn't come up easy, but I didn't buckle either. So that would have been a set near failure. Like I acted, I guess, but that would have been a set near failure. But like if you're squatting, your knees are coming in. That's terrible. Like never lift a weight where you want to bring your knees in, because what you're doing is you're getting your hips loaded under and then up. So you're basically buckling to get the weight up, but that is very destructive on the knees. Right. So if anything, over exaggerate putting pressure out. Um, but as also you don't want to see like too how I this like this, right? When you're squatting, you don't want to like here. That's that's one thing that might happen when the weight is too heavy. Anyways, next set. Feels like I'm too close to this safety rack right here. This safety rack was sort of in my way, and it made the bottom very awkward on that set. But yeah, my recommendation: try increasing the weight, see what happens, stay safe, protect yourself. That's why I like the cable so much, because you just take the needle out, lower it, and then how does that go? And then, okay, that's too light. Take the needle down, put it back in. You're like, oh, wow, I can't even lift that. Okay, let's go back up a couple. And you can really find the weight really quickly. So if you have access to a cable machine, it's just like, flip. How's that? No, not enough. Flip. Okay, that's, okay, flip. And in real time, in like a few minutes, suddenly you find the perfect weight where you're struggling to get 10 and you cannot get 15. And that is a weight that you're going to grow, you're going to build muscle on. But that's the problem with when you get up to really high repetitions in a set, is it becoming cardio and not getting that hypertrophy. And you can get hypertrophy at a high volume, but it's a little bit more difficult to get the feel for it. Because if you're doing push-ups, right? Some people can get to 50 push-ups before they can't do anymore, and it's literally because their arms are on fire and then they just drop. It's not because their core is tired from being up the whole time, or they just run out of breath. It's like, no, if you do that, you get the lactic acid that builds up in your hand and into your arms until you essentially you can't push, right? And that literally might be 50 reps to failure, but they went to failure. Whereas often it's more efficient for muscle. Like the traditional thought process that a lot of people think is like 3 to 5 reps for strength building, 8 to 12 for bodybuilding, and there are reasons behind why that is what has been traditional knowledge for so long. It's not so simple as that, right? Because like you do 5 reps, you can build a lot of muscle, but you got to tailor it. Like Elliot Hulse from Strength Camp, he has tailored his whole career around the 5x5, right? Like literally decades of training 5x5s, and 5x5s are like, it's 5 reps is enough to really tax the muscles, but it's not enough to really wear yourself down either. So it's like right in the middle between like strength training and helping you build some high quality muscle. And so the 5x5 program is a great program for training. It's not what I like to do. I've done it before. I've based programs around like 5x5s, but I like going home after the gym and feeling my lats, feeling my arms bounce off my lats because I've really torn them down, and I can really feel the muscle fibers having broken down. That depends though. For a set of 25, that's not necessarily true. Like upping it to 25 reps, you can still build muscle. Like doing sets of 25 can still be a great way to build muscle, but you have to be tearing down the muscle has to fail or be near failure around 25. It can't be because you're just gassed out from like turning it into a cardio exercise. It's actually got to be the muscle dictates that weight, and 25 reps is gives you decent amount of hypertrophy. Because like some people train with higher reps and they get some really good results, but it's not any better than doing like 10 reps, like only doing 10 reps. Like you're probably gonna build more muscle. Like most people, 95% of people will build more muscle doing sets of 10 than they will doing sets of 25. But the 5% who will build basically as much muscle is because they have that mind muscle connection, and they are because 95% of people, if you're doing 25 sets or 25 reps in a set, it's a little bit harder to understand where failure is when you're just starting up. and that's a lot of it, is like playing around with things, playing around with your own body, playing around with different weights, and finding out basically how hard you can work with different rep ranges, different weights, and what it takes to get hypertrophy. Hey there, it's Insanix. Yeah, I'll grab my own butt. I have my back extension machine, and this is the best glute exercise. Like hip thrust bridges, they're great and all. You can do a lot of weight, build a lot of strength that way. But this is the cable equivalent of that, where like you can do bench press or you can do cables for chest. Well, if you're doing your back extension, you're almost thinking like a little bit of hip thrust and take your head up, so that you can basically let everything hang and pick yourself up with your ass, and having so like I'll actually touch the muscle, and that will actually help with activation. Get my hands on there, and then really squeeze at the top. Yeah. I get that. Hey Gubster, do you do lunges? Like doing one-legged exercises can really help with increasing the difficulty, as well as does a lot for your functionality as well as performance. Helps you with healthy knees. If you're doing a lunge, it's all about where your center mass is, right? So for here, my center mass is back. It's never going directly into my knee. If I'm doing this, there is a lot of pressure into my knee right now. I'll send my center mass back, and this is very comfortable. This is very strong for my knees, right? Whereas if I'm doing this, suddenly I went from a 0 to 100 really quick, and so that's how people get a lot of knee injuries, is that the stress on the knee with bad form increases exponentially. So it's not like as your form gets worse, the stress on your knee is coming up linearly. It's like suddenly you're like, okay, there's no stress on the knee, no stress on the knee. You do something bad, and it spikes through the roof. Anytime, it's Insanix. I figured you were being a little bit joking a little bit there, but I'll humor you. I've run out of water. All right. Next set, I've only got 200 pounds in the bar here right now. Just kidding. Yeah. There's a lot that you can do in single legs. My favorite warm up are these. Except this bench is in my way, so I can't really. But what you want to do is you never want to let your leg flare out. This is going to hurt you. Really, really tuck it in and get over that knee. And this, I find, warms up my knee better than any other exercise. And there's other things you can do where you can jump. All right, next set. But actually, well, when the pandemic first hit, I brought all my workouts outside, and I got a couple weight vests. I got a 25-pound weight vest, a 40-pound weight vest, and a 100-pound weight vest. And I'd put on my 40-pound weight vest, and I'd go do lunges. And that's an easy way to just add some extra weight. What actually happens is if you carry a weight vest for too long, your traps actually get sore because you don't realize that the whole time you have the weight vest on, you're resisting the weight. So the weight's trying to push your shoulders down, and you're keeping them up just a little bit. I'm really noticing the difference once my water ran out. I think I'm done with bench press. I think I'm going to do some band work now. And then, I'm not sure. I had a plan of things I was going to do, but I no longer feel like doing half of them anymore. I'm going to actually fill my water. I'll be right back in 30 seconds. No, 20 seconds. With that door open, it makes a big difference. I didn't leave the tap running, and now my water's a little warm. Ouch. Hi, Good Matrix. How's it going? I haven't really been able to catch you streaming these days, but I see you've been streaming quite a bit. I've just been haven't had the time to sit down. I got my vaccination shot a week ago, and I got a little bit sick, so I spent some time sitting in front of the computer. But I ended up staying off Twitch the most of the time. I actually was just playing video games and vegging. All right, let's. Oh. This is a nice grip exercise. 50-pound plate and just holding it. It's not easy. And what'll happen is you'll carry it and it'll feel easy, but when it gets hard, suddenly you realize like you can't even hold on to it anymore. 50-pound plate. You got both your shots? Yeah, I remember moving these weights, right? So I tried carrying. I took these two 50-pound plates I brought them down 3 flights of stairs. I was carrying them both at the same time, and then I drove for 10 minutes, and I couldn't carry them up the stairs at the same time because my grip had fatigued bringing them down the stairs. And so I started like, okay, put one down. I was carrying them one at a time. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. Stay well, stay safe. Oh. All right. My pleasure, like always. Keep me informed with your progress. I'm happy to hear about it. Keep up the good work. Keep up the improvement. You're on the right track. There's a lot of things where you might not have to worry. Like I don't think you have to necessarily worry about them as much as you might think you do. Showing up, trying hard, keeping yourself safe, and having fun. That's 90% of it. The rest you can basically figure out as you go. You got your whole life ahead of you to do so. Experiment around with like change this and that. Like I said, adopt the exercises first. Learn how to do the exercises really well. Then start playing around with different factors, and then see what happens. All right. Have a good night. All right. Let's get this out of the way. So what this will do, what this exercise does, is like a lot of people train their internal and external rotation aspects of their shoulder. Um, this exercise trains it where it's like most people train it where they're the strongest. This one trains at the weakest position. So like once you're already past here, it's basically already a little bit easier. But you want to spend. I'm trying to focus on the weakest aspect that's involved in rotation of the shoulder. I feel like doing dips. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Dips feel like the way to finish off this exercise, finish off my workout day. I got 2 weeks until my birthday. And 9 days until I'm fully vaccinated and I'll start going back to the gym. I can't get the right angle on this. Hey there, Aurora Alexi, how's it going tonight? I've been having a good workout so far. I've been basically working out every day this month, but I haven't been streaming. The last time I streamed was Canada Day, because then I spent a lot of time outside. I got too much sun, and I developed a little bit of a cough. But got a good night's sleep last night. Throat's feeling good again. I'm doing great. Got the good music. I got good airflow through here today. I've had a productive day at work. I started playing a video game again. It's the hardest part of my life right now is putting it down. Actually, I realize I got all these things I gotta do. I'm always super busy every day. Well, I picked up a video game and I was just like, I sit there. Oh my god, I lost 3 hours today. How am I gonna get everything done? All right, so I want to do some dips. I also want to do some more band work. So let's finish some band work before I really put it away. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's workout. Gonna do a back day. Still gonna do my pull-ups, but I plan to mix it up a little bit. I'm sorry, I beat up this elastic quite a bit. Welcome back. You got a chickamote. You got a penguin. Is that a penguin? And then a bear. I don't have any confetti, but the last time I went dancing, um, when the pandemic first hit, none of us knew how bad it was going to get, and we were in the process of scheduling a uh, like a national swing dancing event that people had already booked their flights for. They're coming in. We had spent tons of man hours setting everything up, and at the last minute, it's like we gotta cut it. Like I'm talking like 2 days before, and we're gonna go through the weekend, and it was just cut off. And so there was some people who would come into the city from out of town, and they'd come early, and so there was night parties every night and dancing till the wee hours of the morning and lots of pre-party. But then suddenly it's like, okay, you guys better fly back to where you're from before you can't make it back. And then the world shut down. And then there was a social distance swing dancing event that happened after the first lockdown, and I went and participated in that. And I danced with one woman. So it was like there's one person that I missed dancing with the most, and she wasn't like the most amazing dancer because she was new to dancing. But what she had is she had tons of like energy and just the right she had tons of like the right attitude going into it. And so I was dancing with her, and I would do things I'd never done with anyone else before. Every time I danced with her, because she would be open up and to like open up to anything I wanted to try, she would let me try it and do her best and really go into it full force. And so I went and I did one dance with her, and the rest was all just solo dancing away from each other, mostly saying hi from a distance. Um, but they did another one last Tuesday, but I had my vaccination shot on Monday, so I actually missed it. So I missed the opportunity to go see those people again. Um, so I was a little bit bummed out about that. But there will be events again. Um, and I also did one stream where I was partner dancing, and I did one stream. I set the thing up in my apartment, in my old place, had everything ready. I had the woman come in, and we spent the whole night dancing away. But it didn't work out very well for Twitch. Basically, while we were partner dancing, we were away, like we weren't watching chat. So chat was unfiltered, and it was full of people saying not so nice things about her, um, which was I was like, okay, so this didn't go well. I think if I were to do another partner stream, I would want to have somebody actively mod for me, because after we were done streaming, we took a break, and she wanted to go see the computer, like see the chat, see what she looked like watch the VODs, and like she came there for a good time. I don't want her to like deal with like crappy people, right? So I could take whatever abuse people throw at me, but I don't want to make someone self-conscious, hurt their feelings when like they're already bringing themselves out there to participate in this with me. Well, by and large, I've been really pleasantly surprised with all the nice, interesting people I've met through Twitch, and like the crappy people have been a very small minority. Um, but like as soon as I had a woman on my stream, then suddenly they're popping in, and
when we're partner dancing for like 4 hours straight, like someone can come in, say whatever they want, and then leave. And and the thing is that that's all the textile was there because we weren't chatting with people, so I wasn't here interacting with people's comments. So um, yeah, but I'll see if I can do that again. There's a couple things that to keep in mind. One, my place is largely carpeted. The only place that's not carpeted is the bathroom and the kitchen. So, like pivoting is strenuous. It's a lot. It takes a lot of uh, stabilizing of the knee to do it, and it wears you out. When you're dancing for hours on carpet, you want to do more like bouncy, less spinny. And at the same time, I did a 2 hour leg workout before, like right before I started partner dancing on stream. So I had 800 pounds on my shoulders doing a modified like a machine squat. So I was doing a machine squat with 800 pounds on my shoulders, which turned it more into like a mixture of a hip thrust, and a leg press. And you could tell, like I could tell. Maybe the average person watching wouldn't be able to tell, but I could tell rewatching the streams that I was being a little bit lazy in my dancing because my legs were a little bit jello. So like if there's two options, one where like rather than move my own feet, I focus more on leading her as opposed to a lot of the fancy footwork I would have done myself. All right, so I'm gonna get back to my band work, and then I'm going to hit the dips, and then I think that'll be all she wrote for tonight. All right, so try to unbury my parallel bars. Yeah, I've I've been made a mod for one person's channel, but really most of the time I prefer to I never really go in mod view. I'd rather just enjoy it as just another viewer. But some people like being mods, some people don't. Each of their own. I had one woman who like I've had people that have asked me mods, and I'm like, sure, go ahead. Um, there was one woman who had came by regularly for a couple of weeks a while back, um, and I think she left because um, some of the like she didn't like where my stream went occasionally, right? Like sometimes sometimes I'll play around a little bit too much and then think about it afterwards, and I'll be like, maybe maybe I shouldn't have gone that far. Maybe I shouldn't have like worried about if I'm making people uncomfortable. But she wanted to be a mod so that she could sort of steer the traffic in a certain way. And I had more problems with that a while ago than I do now. Um, I've got more regulars now, and I feel like I've learned a little bit more about the people that I'm chatting with than when I first started. When I first started, it was just tons of people, and then there's like I might have been a little bit overwhelmed. I'm not sure, but yeah. Well, I didn't really mind. I was just like, you want to do that? Go ahead. I'll give it a shot. But there was also a little bit of drama. There was also a little bit of drama in my stream too, because I so this woman I made her my very first mod, and at the same time I realized, hey, you know what? I should make some people that have been around that appreciate VIPs. So I made a bunch of people. I made a couple people VIPs too, and my very next stream, um, one of the women that has regularly visited my stream, I made her a VIP because like she's always jumping in, and I'll give people my perspective, but my perspective is as a man, and she would give she would complement my perspective with her perspective um, from more of the female perspective, and I I really appreciated that of what she brought to my stream with that. So I made her a mod, or I made her a VIP. And the very next stream, it turned out that both these women, the one who I made the VIP and the one who I made the mod, had met each other in another streamer's stream. And the one who I made a mod really, really did not like the other one. And the one I made a VIP completely forgot about the one that I made a mod. And so it was just like, I threw my hands up in the air and I was ready to just be done with the whole thing. I've had enough drama in my life the last couple of years. But one thing here being on the internet is like people come and go sometimes, right? Like sometimes things come up in people's lives that so people are gone for months at a time, but hopefully I'll still be here when they come back. Other people move on, decide that maybe I don't click with what they with how they want to spend their time, and that's fine too. Yeah. Well, for myself, I started streaming with zero expectations, and I I don't necessarily consider myself a streamer. I'm just here having fun, welcoming all you guys to join me. Um, but when I went into streaming, if I didn't enjoy it, or if it started like stressing me out or this and that, I always had the option just to like walk away from it. Um,
And but no, it's really helped my workouts. It's really helped my home workouts. It's made my home workouts become enjoyable again. And if for some reason that it doesn't, right, I would be able to take a break without losing too much skin off my back. You're having trouble working out, and when you work out, you feel like throwing up, and you don't know why. I'm gonna turn on my music so I can think and hear myself think here. Um, that there could be a lot of reasons behind that. Um, like several different routes that you can potentially think about. If you're living your life being crushed by stress, right? Like that you can do things like develop ulcers in your like just by like work stress, life stress, family stress. Like, Oni-chan, how's it going? It's good. It's good to see you. I've got my new workout room here. I've got my second vaccination shot. In 9 days, I will be considered fully vaccinated. So I got that going for me. Got a nice little bit of a tan here. I've dropped some weight after getting my shot. So I'm a little bit lighter than normal, but I'm yeah, right now I'm thinking about this last guy's comment here, AM0990YY. Wait, is that ammo? But this so that's one aspect that could be causing you to feel nauseous when you're working out. There's something like this. There's something that there could be something underlying. It could be with your diet. Like people can develop issues with foods staple foods that they've had in their diet for so long, and then so suddenly like dairy might not agree with you anymore. It could be that you're overtraining, and if you're overtraining, like to build muscle, you need hypertrophy, and you need as much volume of hypertrophy that you can get, and that's going to dictate how big you grow. But there's also the recovery aspect. So how much volume of hypertrophy that you can get depends on how you recover. So like you wear down your muscle tissue, then you recover, and then you do it again. If you're not fully recovered and you go do it again, you could trash your immune system, and I've done that before. I've trained so hard that I had a cough for over a year. So for a year, I had a cough and like phlegm going down my throat that I just lived with, and that's because I was training 6 days a week, but I was training hard and I was barely recovering. You can call. Okay, so Adrian. Oh no, I think my camera went blurry. It might help if you give me some more context. I might be able to fine tune my thought process a little bit. You're staying consistent with cooking and cleaning and eating clean. That's good. Yeah, been going at it since the beginning of June. Yeah, that's the definitions are based off of proportions, and the leaner you can be, the bigger the muscle is going to look. Yeah, every so often, people's willpower will run out. It just happens. Um, but you like the goal is to eat as clean and as healthy as you can while still being healthy and maintaining your sanity. Because like for myself, I am able to suffer and stay in a very high calorie deficit, but I'm a lot happier when I'm full. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna do some more dips. For myself as well, sometimes if I get the urge to binge, I will keep certain foods around, like a lot of fruit, where you can basically binge off as much fruit as you want, and you're never gonna have to worry about it because like you eat a pound of strawberries and that's 150 calories. Like same thing with melons, right? Like you can eat pounds of melon, any type of melon, and you're gonna stay lean.
I gotta change the camera a bit.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to like you need your nutrients, but a lot of it comes down to calories, making sure you get enough protein. How much carbs, how much fat doesn't really matter that much as long as you're not cutting both out, because it's not as healthy to like diets that you cut out carbs, diets that you cut out fat will work, but they're not as healthy. But if you're in a high calorie deficit, you're gonna feel like heck, and you're gonna suffer more. And there's a lot of effects that's gonna have on the body. One thing that happens is when you're in a very high calorie deficit, your body will want to shut down and conserve as much energy as it can. It almost goes into, well, basically goes into starvation mode. No, fruit is a lot of fiber. The sugar content in fruit isn't really like fruit juice is worse because fruit juice is high in calories and it's not filling. Like fruit juice is just concentrated, but like you eat the fruit themselves, it's filling for the amount of calories that you're having. It's got some sugar in it, but it's like also high in fiber. It's going to fill you up, and it's not the same as like the worst that's going to happen if you have a lot of fruit is you might develop a little bit more of a sweet tooth, and so you might have cravings for more sweet things. But and the same thing with artificial sugars. You can have like your Diet Coke that's 0 calories, but it has artificial sugars in it, and those artificial sugars may cause you to crave more sweet type foods. And a lot of sweet type foods are high in calories. And when I'm saying high in calories, I mean there's a lot of calories for a very small volume. You want to eat foods that have a lot of volume for the amount of calories. And like for what you should, and back to it was Adrian, right? So Adrian, like eat more green vegetables, eat more whole foods. The more you can cook, the better. Then you're gonna have a better understanding of what you're actually eating. I would recommend that everybody take the time to measure, like not always, but at least once for give it a good shot to weigh all your foods, measure all your calories, get an understanding of what a calorie is, what that looks like for size and weight, and how filling it is. And it's a pain in the butt. It's hard to do. It's tedious. It gets annoying very quick. But if you do it once, it'll be a little bit novel at the time, and it won't be so as annoying. And maybe get a month in before you get sick of it. And Arcanus. But yeah, if you're hungry, you should eat. If you're worried about gaining too much weight, eat until you're not full anymore. But at 14, like your hunger is gonna as long as you're not morbidly obese, your hunger is gonna dictate basically how much you should eat. And yeah, that's very similar to what happened to me in my last year of university. My last year of university, I was pulling all-nighter after all-nighter, locking myself in a room, eating Pringles till 2 o'clock every morning, having lots of junk food. And in 6 months, I got a belly when I was skinny my whole life. What I did to burn it off, I burned off 25 pounds fat in 3 to 4 weeks. And all I did is I drank nothing but water, purge my diet, so it was nothing but meat and vegetables, with emphasis on vegetables. So like a lot more greens. Most people, when they go on a diet and they think, oh, I'm going to go on a salad diet, they give themselves a little salad. No, have a big salad. Eat
salad until you're full. So like for myself, I'll get a bowl that's this big, and if I'm still hungry after one salad, I'll have another one just as big. You can eat a lot of food, and it's a lot of volume to fill up your belly, keep you happy, and you're not going to overeat. You can still be in a calorie deficit. The higher calorie deficit that you're in, the more that your body is going to suffer. So it's better to stay in a small calorie deficit and lose like half a pound to one pound fat a week, as opposed to losing it all at once. If you lose it all at once, if you've been training with building muscle, you're going to affect either the amount of muscle that you're able to grow, or you might lose some of the muscle that you have in the process of losing the fat as well, because you're in a calorie deficit. Your body is going to lose weight somehow. It has to, because of the laws of thermodynamics. Preferably, you want to have it come from your fat stores. So what I did is I drank only water, ate whenever I was hungry, but only until I was not hungry anymore. So I had little meals all throughout the day. I'm hungry, I eat, but I have all my food prepared, meat and vegetables and rice, and then I would go for a walk for an hour a day. And I'd put on my audiobook, I just walk, and 3 or 4 weeks burnt it all off. And then I started lifting weights. I'm like, okay, so the next part is resistance training. Build some muscle, increase your metabolism, burn more calories every day just by every pound of muscle you have, it burns more calories just by existing. Yeah, and 14 is young, right? Like 14, you're still growing, right? Even if you've already got your growth spurt, you're still expected to grow, and not even that. Like you need the calories for your brain development. You're still going to be learning a lot, basically every day, every week, and life is going to be a lot easier if you're well fed. Mother will not let you walk in the front yard. What I use for my cardio is my stationary bike. It's more efficient to pick one type of cardio and get really good at it, because you think if you do one activity, it gets easier over time. But as it gets easier over time, you might think that you're going to burn less calories, but you're not. You're actually burning more. You're actually getting better at burning calories doing that one activity. And so if I'm on the bike, if I pedal for I want to burn 1,000 calories as fast as I can. So I put the resistance up and I pedal as hard as I can for an hour and a half, and then I'm done after an hour and a half. But as I get stronger, that same resistance gets easier. So maybe after 2 months of training, I do an hour and a half at that same resistance, and I walk away, I feel perfectly okay. Well, you know what? I could have turned up that resistance, and even though it felt easier, I still burned the same amount of calories, because calories is a measure of wattage, it's a measure of energy output. It's how much you move your body. The more you move your body, the more, like lifting weights doesn't burn a lot of calories. If I deadlift 400 pounds, that's the bulk approximation of how much energy it takes to burn 1 calorie. And lifting 400 pounds off the ground is really hard to do. You lift it up once, you'll be on the ground sweating, you'll sit back and oh my God, but you burn 1 calorie. Meanwhile, you move yourself, if you weigh 150 pounds, if you move yourself 150 pounds across a football field, how many calories do you think you burnt then? Yeah, but even then, the best way is to focus on your diet. But even at 14, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult, because when you're a teenager, you might not necessarily have full control over what you eat. You might be dictated by the environment that you're in, and not even at 14. That can happen for all ages, all walks of life. Some people, I remember I was in university and I got so skinny I could stick my hands around my waist, because I ran out of money one year. I had all my textbooks stolen, and I had to go and buy all my textbooks again.
and I had no money to eat. So I ate one small meal a day, and by the end, I was a toothache. And it's just like I couldn't afford to eat. Whereas the other end is like if I like the other end is a lot of people who can't afford, like the only food that they can afford is like fast food, and fast food adds up, but there's a lot of food that's high in calorie and just not that good for you, but it's cheap. And you see that a lot in poor communities where the cost of food is more. Here in Canada, you go to the reserves, they have to fly all their food in. So, like they don't have very many perishable foods. And I remember going up to these reserves and spending $50+ on the pack of bottled water. It's like, how can people afford to live there? Well, I would like for myself, I would see if I'd be able to make some sort of arrangement with my brother to use his stationary bike, because like there are other forms of cardio. Like if you don't have anywhere to really go for a walk out in your community, like riding a bike, like if you don't have a bike, if say your parents don't want you outside walking, and if there is a stationary bike, I would see if I'd be able to make some sort of arrangement, make some compromises, maybe some give and take. But one thing with cardio doesn't build a lot of muscle, but the muscle that it does train is the heart, which is the most important muscle and is going to go the longest for keeping you healthy. And so it's recommended that people do cardio on average, maybe 2 to 3 times, well, three times a week. I can't remember the exact numbers of what the science said right now, but several times a week to do cardio is going to go a lot longer for maintaining health than lifting weights will. Having muscles is good and all, but having a healthy heart is going to go a lot longer towards improving your health. At the same time, to stay lean with just cardio, it takes a lot. Like it takes constant cardio. It takes an active lifestyle, like week by week. Whereas with muscles, it's a little bit. I've done several. I've experimented with several different things to lose weight. I've experimented with a lot of different diets. Right in January, I changed up my diet to have a fun type diet. I bought this bodybuilder YouTube's cookbook for $100 American. It's full of shakes. It's full of breakfast foods, a lot of sweet type foods that like taste really good. Like I make protein ice cream. I make my own protein bars now. I make French toast every morning. So I'll cook for a week in advance. And my French toast, egg whites are king. Egg whites are low in calories and very filling, almost like nothing else out there. So like you have a lot of egg whites, and that's going to fill your belly up and keep you lean. And so what I'll do is I'll take my piece of bread and I'll have a tub of egg. I'll put 10 cups of egg whites into a Tupperware container. Put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract and 10 dashes of cinnamon and some artificial sweetener. And then I'll take my piece of bread and I'll soak it in these egg whites. And then I'll take it out of the egg whites once it's completely soaked, put it in the pan, and then I will take a spoon and I'll keep adding more egg whites on top of the bread in the pan until it can't soak up any more egg whites. Then I'll take a handful of blueberries
and I'll spread it on top of my French toast. And then in the end, I get a French toast that's like this big, and it's like maybe like 10% bread, 90% egg white, tastes really good. I'll put some Greek yogurt on top of it, and or some just plain yogurt, put it on top, and it is very filling to the point where I can eat, but I can only eat 3 of these things before I'm absolutely full. You might only be able to eat 1.5 and not able to eat anymore just because they're so filling, but also low in calories. So you don't need to eat a lot of vegetables if you understand calories and how to play around with a lot of foods. So and sometimes like what I'll do is I'll get home from work, and maybe if I want to pump out a workout right after I get home, I'll get home, I'll eat as much fruit as I can in 15 minutes. So I'll give myself 15 minutes to eat as much fruit. So I'll just grab a bunch of melon, grab a bunch of strawberries, maybe some pineapple, and I'll just go to town. I'll stuff my face, let it sit for half an hour, and then I'm good to work out. But it just comes down to like lift some weights. You can do body weights exercise work great. Like there's tons of progressions out there. Just pick a program and give it an honest shot for a couple months, and then see how you like it. There's a lot of good programs you can do out there depending on what you sort of have available. You can look these up on YouTube. And my recommendations to you is when you're learning how to do the exercise, like to build muscle, and like rather than the program, focus on the exercises themselves and learn how to, like when you're doing bicep curls, learn how to actually activate the muscle and feel what it's supposed to feel like, and adopt the exercise themselves. When you're doing, say, like an overhead press, learn how to do the exercises properly without hurting yourself. Learn how to maintain your spine, a nice healthy spine. Learn how to not buckle, right? Never buckle to get the weight up, because you're just grinding your joints, and it's not healthy. It's very destructive on the joints. But learn the exercise themselves, and then make a program out of the exercises that you've learned. Drink a lot more water, right? You'll be a lot healthier if you basically switch out all drinks for water. You don't necessarily have to go that far, but every step that you take on this sort of path is going to help. You're going to get more results from doing it. You don't have to follow everything 100%, but the more consistent you are with it, and the longer you do it, the more results that you're going to get. And then I'd recommend go for a walk every day. If you can't, maybe do a stationary bike, even if you can do it every second day. And then it comes down to so drink water, lift some weights, do some cardio, and then your diet. I'd recommend basically eating nothing but green vegetables if you can help it. 90% of your diet could be through green vegetables. Not even green vegetables, but like carrots, cucumbers, celery, mixing some onions in there, get some spinach, get some lettuce, and you can cut them all up, put them in portions, and you have meals for a week. And you're gonna want some meat as well. You're gonna like protein's important, but yeah, I get that. What I do is I cook in bulk. I try to make it as easy as possible. Every step of the way, I try to set the road in front of me so that all I have to do is take the step and walk down the road that I built. So I don't want to make things harder on myself. I want to make it as easy as possible to follow each step to get me towards my goal. So I will cook in bulk. I'll proportion everything all at once, spend a couple hours, get it all done, and then for a week, all I have to do is show up, stick my food in the microwave, and then move on my way, right? So,
sometimes just cooking every day can be tedious, right? As opposed to just getting it done all at once, and then and then you have then the rest of the week is yours. Um, I have a friend who bought this space food. I think it was called Joyland. Essentially, it was scientifically made that theoretically you should have been only able to eat nothing but this. It was like a powdered shake that you'd make. And my friend bought a month, like he bought like hundreds of these packets, like hundreds of meals of this Joyland. And turns out he's allergic to it and he couldn't eat it. So he gave it all to me. So suddenly I had like this space food that's like food in a powder, and it was interesting. But one thing that happened is I have an iron stomach, and this thing was hard to digest sometimes. So it was so I ended up using it as sort of like just to top myself up. Like if I'm hungry and I've eaten all my meals for the day, but I'm still a little bit hungry, I'll throw in one of these things, chug it down, and then I'm done. All right. I'm using the straps right now to add some extra resistance to the top of the lift, where the triceps are fully extended. But my recommendation, don't like you're 14, don't starve yourself. If you're hungry, eat. Just eat until you're not full anymore. There's a lot of like cheap little dirty tricks that you can do to limit how much you eat. One little trick is before every meal, drink a cup or two of water, and then it's gonna fill up your stomach and it's gonna prevent you from overeating. Um, there's other things you can do that aren't really that won't really get you the like will get you results, but visual results, but not actual physical results. So like if you cut out all bread from your diet, depending on what your calories are, it's not going to change your fat content at all. But if you cut out bread, you're you'll have less water weight in your body, and what that'll do is that'll make you look a little bit leaner. It'll make you look a little bit less puffy, but it's not necessary to do. But it's something that like a lot of people will do like before, like if they want to go to the beach or something. It's like okay, cut out bread, and what happens is like both like carbs mixed with glycogen, carbs mixed with water, which turns into glycogen, and that's how your body stores a lot of the water. There's also water that's oh, I'm starting to get workout brain here. I've been going for over 2 hours, and it's getting late here as well. And I can feel that my thoughts are getting a little bit sluggish, so especially once I started turning off the music. But I like I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, and especially like there's a lot of information out there on the internet. Stay away from programs that people will tell you, okay, get this in like 3 weeks, right? If someone says, okay, get abs in 3 weeks, they're basically selling you a fairy tale. Just think just think about having an active lifestyle and following several of the steps that I put on there, and even just thinking about it. Just thinking about being active is going to change some of the choices that you make in your life. That's gonna have some results here and there. Oh. Let's see who's on right now. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna start packing it up. Unwind. Yeah, thanks for coming by. One thing you might find if you're here a while is that sometimes the advice might get repetitive, but really that's because like the human body is what the human body is. The science all points to the same thing and hasn't really, like, it's been fine-tuned over the years, but nothing has dramatically changed. So it does get repetitive because the answer's basically always the same. There's like we're physical creatures living in a physical world. There's laws of thermodynamics going on with all of our interaction with the world around us. Oh. Yeah. Before I go, I'll show you my before picture from when I started working out. So, well, that's not it. That's the wrong picture. This one here. So this is me at 24. This is what I started with. 145 pounds at 5'11". And went blurry, but within say within a year, I put on probably 40 pounds, and a lot of it comes down to just eating. There's no amount of metabolism that will override eating. Where the person in the world who has the highest metabolism is the fattest person, because it takes more energy just to pump blood through their body, as well as every action that they do, they're moving around more mass. So they're just, well, right now I'm 100. Well, I've been 190. What's your height? Height has a lot to do with how much weight your body can carry, as well as there are different body types that people will reference, but it's actually on a spectrum. So almost nobody is like a pure ectomorph or a pure this or a pure that, but everybody has a different amount of fat cells in their body, and that will dictate sort of what you will gravitate towards naturally. And a healthy body, like if you imagine that your fat cells are eggs, you have X number of eggs in your body that you're born with. The eggs don't multiply, they don't decrease, but what they do is they expand and contract. Actually, not even that. So they're filled with water, and the water goes up and down. The water level goes down, the water level goes up, and naturally they want to be half full. So the like with a healthy body with proper regulated hormones, your fat cells should be half full. And if the fat cell and if the water in the fat in the egg is above half, your hunger hormones are going to get you to eat less daily, and until they go down to half full. If the
if the water is below half, the hormones are gonna cause your hunger to increase, and you're gonna naturally eat more until they gravitate towards half full. But what happens is the foods that we eat, like a lot of fast food and this and that, what will cause people to become obese, and then what happens is their hormones are out of whack, so that the egg becomes full, but the hormones are still telling your hunger to eat. So your egg is full of water, and you still want to eat. So suddenly your egg grows into a grapefruit, and then it becomes harder to lose weight. You're able to lose a lot of weight very quickly because you have more weight to lose, but it becomes harder to lose weight initially because the hormones are out of whack, and the hunger is basically the enemy. Hunger is the enemy, and it's causing you to eat when you're basically already full. 5'8". Yeah, the number one way to go if you want to say if you're 5'8", and if you want to go from like 195 to like 145, the most tried and true method is in the kitchen, right? Just eating a lot more vegetables, a lot of more whole foods, and then over time being consistent with it. Consistency is key. And even if you lose a pound, you might need 50 weeks to get from 195 to 145. That might be something that's more realistic, losing. But what's actually going to happen is you're going to go from 195 to like 165 probably really quick. You have potentially, if you do everything right, you go from 195 to 165 pretty quick, and then it'll start to slow down as you start to lose more weight. It's around body fat percentage, where your higher body fat, to lose 1% of body fat at 200 pounds might be X number, however much, say you have, say 20% body fat at 200%, or at 200 pounds, that's 40 pounds of fat. And so you lose 1% of that is 4 pounds. Whereas if you have, say, 20 pounds, 1% of that is 2 pounds. And you're probably going to suffer as much to lose 1% at 40 pounds excess fat compared to 20 pounds excess fat. I don't know if I did that math. I don't think I did that math right. I can't math when I'm tired, but anyways, I'm going to take off. I'm going to find this guy here looks like he's I'm going to rate this guy here. Thank you everybody for coming. Join me on my journey to get a little bit stronger. It's good to be back streaming after my little throat tickle. Oh. All right. Have a good night, everybody.